Hi everyone, welcome to Debaser. Jared here at the top to let you know about a new show called Reno Championship Wrestling. RCW was created by Kyle Brown, who you may know as the creator of a very popular podcast called King Falls AM. Reno Championship Wrestling is a new show that features much of the cast of King Falls, as well as a few new voices. That's me, I'm in it. As it explores the behind-the-scenes drama of an indie wrestling outfit in the mid-90s. Reno Championship Wrestling is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, and the first episode is out now, so go check it out. Okay, back to the show. Harvey Weinstein, the famous producer of over 330 films and co-founder of Miramax, the major film studio behind such legendary films as Pulp Fiction and Clerks, is now a notorious sex offender who is currently serving a combined 39-year prison sentence for multiple counts of rape, with more trials still to come. Before the investigative reporting by the New York Times and the brave and numerous victims that came forward to testify against him in 2017, which led to his arrest and convictions, Harvey was known as a difficult and tough producer, especially when it came to non-American directors. Guillermo del Toro and Hayao Miyazaki are among the filmmakers that once clashed with Weinstein over cuts and edits made to their films. In Miyazaki's case, after a dispute regarding cuts Weinstein wanted to make to a Studio Ghibli film, Miyazaki's producer sent Weinstein a samurai sword. Engraved on the blade were the words, "No cuts." Weinstein relented, and no cuts were made to the American release of Princess Mononoke. South Korean director Bong Joon-ho also clashed with producer Harvey Weinstein, who frequently interfered during production on today's film. Among the many requests, the producer insisted on having a scene in which riot police slice their axes into a large fish removed for pacing. Bong, who considered it his favorite shot in the film, was determined to keep it in. Bong protested to Weinstein that the shot was personal to him, serving as a tribute to his late father, a fisherman. In response, Weinstein said that family is very important to him and allowed Bong to keep the shot. Years later, Bong revealed in an interview that, quote, "It was a fucking lie. My father was not a fisherman." From the back of a locomotive carrying the last survivors of humanity, this is Debaser, a film podcast. I'm Jared Rusk, and I'm joined by my ruggedly handsome co-host, Will Taylor, as we explore both new and familiar movies to bring you details and discussion about them. All in an effort to debase the films and ourselves. Today's episode, yet another futuristic dystopian film, this time set aboard a train serving as humanity's last refuge, in which the oppressed passengers lead an uprising in the movie Snowpiercer. Stay tuned.
You gotta kick it off with a killer to grab attention. Then you gotta take it up a notch.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
Who are you?
I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Cells. Interlinked.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Folks, welcome back to Debaser. We are joined by a very special guest today. You may know him from our wonderful Flub. I get to edit these, baby, so there's no flubs. You may know him from our wonderful Hereditary episode, the great Steven Meadows. Steven, hello. Welcome back.
Oh, thanking. Such a nice greeting.
You gotta hit
nice
the
to
air
see you,
horn.
Jared. Nice to see you, Will.
Oh, should I do a reggae air horn? We don't do a lot of sound effects on the show, but we're going to start incorporating them for you.
Oh, yeah. We got shock jock energy.
Well, you know, buddy, I've been touching butts and busting nuts, and I'm having a great time.
Why did you have that locked and ready to go?
I was trying to channel. Did you ever listen to 104.1?
No.
Real radio?
Was that like MJ and...
No, that was 93.3. 104.1 is like it's all talk radio, and they had a morning show where one of the guys would like do skits and shit, and he would just talk like that. He was also like the mascot for the Orlando soccer team. Like he would go out there wearing the thing and he'd do like goofy stuff. I don't know, it was weird.
Well, we're from Central Florida. The home of Bubba the Love Sponge.
Yes.
And MJ and the other guy.
MJ in the morning.
Didn't one of them
It was MJ and BJ.
Was it BJ? Didn't one of them to be a pedophile or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
BJ did because like
allegedly just cross our
used to
me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
I met that man as a child.
Yikes. Steven, where did he touch you?
It was in public. It was at the Blockbuster. They're signing the new comedy CD.
Oh, okay.
Met Dave the Dwarf.
He did not invite
Uncle
you
Fester.
to a green room later or something?
No. Just all in public in view of my parents. Phew.
Okay.
The only reason why I say it's probably the other guys because MJ was still like on the radio doing talk radio stuff.
I think he might.
He's still on the radio now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Murder Brian still talks about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he loves morning DJs, like Shock Jocks.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm dead serious.
I didn't know that.
It's like a side thing that he does on his Patreon where him and Chris follow up on.
I'm not going to give him money. But
I know.
that would
We can't be
fun,
talking
so,
about other people's podcasts on this show either. What are we doing?
Christ.
Okay. Listen, we're here to talk about a very important film. Okay?
That's right.
Now, if you follow me on Letterboxd, you already know what I'm about to say, but I'm just going to drop this. Howard Zinn famously said that you cannot afford to be neutral on a moving train. What Bong Joon-ho presupposes in his 2013 film Snowpiercer is, what if said train was carrying the last survivors of humanity? I don't know if that's a reference that will go over either of your heads.
That went right over my
Someone
head.
who studied political science in college.
I don't get it.
Okay, so Howard Zinn was a famous political, liberal professor who...
College? What's that?
I went to college. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Between the three of us, we have, academic levels.
Yeah.
Because we have some college, right?
Yes, some.
And then associate's degree and then master's degree between the three of us.
Yeah, I have a master's. It's true.
And you don't know about this fucking...
You don't know who Howard Zinn is?
No, it's in
You didn't learn about him through a System of a Down like I did. We can't be afforded to be neutral on a moving train.
That is what he's saying.
That's where all of my political philosophy came from, was new metal. That's crazy. Rage Against the Machine, System of a Down, even Slipknot to an extent. These were my political professors. Okay.
Wild.
Oh, man.
I
Anyways,
digress.
yeah.
We're talking about the movie Snowpiercer. This film came out in 2013.
When you said that year, I was
Yeah.
like, I was 23.
I know.
That's crazy.
The passage of time is brutal, isn't
It
it?
is.
I think we really saw it in 2014, though, because it didn't really get a theatrical release, as I'll get into later.
Yeah.
It is currently available to watch on Tubi and Prime Video, so you have no excuse not to see it. Tubi is a free thing, so get on there and watch it. You're
That's
going
how
to
I
watch
watched it.
You're going to watch ads either way on either of those things.
That's true.
One of them you pay for, so...
Yeah.
The film stars Chris Evans, Song Kang-ho. I hope I'm saying that right. Song Kang-ho.
I'd have to visually see it to do pronunciations.
It's looks
Okay,
how
yeah.
it sounds.
Yeah.
If you don't recognize his name, you probably know him from Parasite,
Right.
the movie that won Best Picture just
He's
a few
the
years
dad,
ago.
if I'm not mistaken, right?
He's the father
Yeah.
in that. Yeah, he's also in other Bong Joon-ho's other movie, The
Yeah,
Host.
yeah.
The film stars Chris Evans, Song Kang-ho, who you probably know from Parasite, Tilda Swinton, Jamie Bell, Octavia Spencer, Go Ah-sung, who plays Yona,
The daughter.
and John Hurt, who we just covered in V for Vendetta.
That's right.
He was the evil counselor guy.
I fucking knew it. I was like, that's Creedy, isn't it?
Yep.
That's crazy.
He's or not Creedy, the the head guy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That Creedy kills.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. He's
I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
It's fine. But he's the guy on the big screen that they're all getting yelled at by.
Because he's
throughout
the old
movie.
man that's been an amputee, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Gilliam. Yeah.
Gilliam.
And then the last cast member I have here is Ed Harris,
Who is
like a final reveal kind
Wilford,
of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. He's playing Wilford. You probably know him from the fucking Godfather movies.
So I've never seen the Godfather movies.
Jesus
I know
Christ.
him from Westworld.
Yeah, I guess he's
He's
in
the
that
main
too.
antagonist in Westworld.
The Truman Show. He's the man
Oh, he's
behind
the
curtain.
director in that, isn't he?
Yeah, kind of a similar-ish role.
Yeah.
He's also in Enemy at the Gates. He's the German sniper.
Yeah. He's my favorite character in The Godfather, though. I love
Well,
him,
now I need
yeah.
to watch it.
It's- dude.
I've needed to watch it previously, but I like that
Yeah.
guy. I
Well,
think he's a great actor.
We're gonna get to it, but it's one of those movies where it's like it would be so typical for us to cover it, kind of thing.
Well,
and like,
hey, we're almost 2 years in and we've not touched it. So
we haven't even touched Sorcerer yet. So
Oh, that's
the thing on our
I
cover.
forgot about that.
You lent that to me. I still haven't watched it.
You son of a bitch! I guess we can't cover it until Steven gives it back.
I'll do it.
So the premise of Snowpiercer is in a future where a failed climate change experiment has killed all life except for the survivors who boarded the Snowpiercer, a train that travels around the globe, a new class system emerges. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, actually,
What's on the poster,
That happened
folks?
before.
Yeah, that actually
That's
sounds
a
like that's
movie.
the premise of of what you just said. That feels like that's the background of the film, and that's not what the film is actually
Right,
about.
right.
It happens like after the
17
first
years
image
ago.
where you see the chemtrails, and then
Yeah.
when you see the people in the train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
They're
these
chemtrails
in this movie.
That's
so
the first
funny.
image.
Yeah.
I just want to say that it's in my notes.
Always thought chemtrails.
Sorry, you do notes. You're so professional.
Always thought chemtrails were a joke, and then within the last 5 years, I've been meeting people who think they're real, and it's just so disappointing.
they've been out there. Like if you just think about how prominent that perspective's been for so long, like you've probably met plenty of people who've believed that.
Well, the first time I heard about it, I was like, oh, that's like a joke that like really stupid people believe. And then after 2016, you start meeting people who believe that shit, and it's just
mainstream.
Yeah, I think Alex Jones is like one of the big reasons that shit went mainstream too.
Yeah. Yeah. Now was InfoWars now owned by The Onion?
Purchased by The Onion.
Love it.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah, you couldn't write a better plot. What am I trying to say? Cut it out. The film Snowpiercer was directed by Bong Joon-ho and was written by Bong and Kelly Masterson. Couldn't find a lot about Kelly.
I was going to ask you.
She's written like 3 other movies.
Okay.
And the only other one I heard of was Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, which was... I did not love that movie. That was a real bummer.
Wait a second. I know that one.
Philip Seymour Hoffman and I want to say Christian Bale are brothers who decide to rob their parents' jewelry store. And it goes
I
bad.
have not seen that.
Dude,
it was bad.
that movie,
Don't waste my time.
It goes bad. I personally didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I was young when I rented it, so I might feel differently now. I don't know. But I rarely see a movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman I don't like, but
he's great.
That movie
was great.
That movie is a bad time though.
Gotcha. Well, you know me, I love bad times.
Yeah, exactly. You might be in for it.
Happiness. I don't know.
Snowpiercer had a budget of $40 million at the time. I think it was if not one of the biggest budget movies for South Korea. It was a cross like South Korea American joint venture kind of thing too. And it grossed. Does anybody know what it grossed domestically?
Do you want to take a guess?
Oh no, I'm bad at this. I don't know how much movies are worth.
So you said that this wasn't in theaters very long.
Yeah, I kind of gave away the.
So
the horse
I'm going
to
assume that it made 31 mil. Lower?
A lot lower.
Oh, that's I don't even want to know.
$4 million.
Oh, I was about to say 5.
God, are you fucking kidding me? That's so sad.
We'll get into why, because it's very important.
Oh, okay.
It really fucking sucks, but
it is what it is.
But internationally, it grossed $86 million.
Hey, yeah, let's fucking go.
It's at least it made its money back. Yeah, but a certain producer tried to tank this movie.
Harvey Weinstein?
I'll just get into it right now.
Just do it.
Okay, so the film's American distributor, the aforementioned Harvey Weinstein, who is currently rotting in prison after being convicted of multiple charges of rape and assault and what have you, and still is undergoing trial for more cases, by the way, which when I found that out, I was like, fuck. He was frustrated with the director after frequent disagreements over a final cut, just editing being made to the film. He kept wanting to shorten it. And this is a thing he does with like a lot of directors when he like signs on to produce a film. So in retribution, Weinstein sabotages the film's release in America by limiting the theatrical release to 300 screens, which is like nothing. That's like what super tiny indie movies do. They like, we're releasing in like New York and Los Angeles to 300 screens this weekend, and it never went wide outside of that.
What
a normal
scumbag.
Release, like a normal wide release in 2013 would have been like 4,000 to 5,000 screens.
Yeah.
And now I think it's even more than that.
That's crazy, dude.
Because this was like over 10 years ago. This was highly unusual for a major motion picture with a $40 million budget. Like, so strange. And that's why it made $86 million internationally.
Fuck him.
Weinstein then sold the film to Netflix.
That's how I watched it.
Right. And that's how I heard about it. Because I remember seeing, I think it was a thread on Reddit about how, hey, the producers of this film like buried this movie, but it's coming to Netflix so everyone can see it soon. And this was back when like Netflix streaming was kind of novel still.
Yeah.
But everybody had it.
Right.
Oh, a lot of people have it. Maybe your parents didn't have it back then, but like a lot of us young people had it. I remember because it was like really hot shit at the time. And I remember people being like, guys, Snowpiercer is coming to Netflix. Like, it just left theaters. Like, this is so cool. And that was very novel at the time.
That's what Mike was telling me. Like, that's how...
I think I had that conversation with the same guy.
Yeah, because I want to say that, like, me, him, and, like, a couple other people went over to his house to watch Snowpiercer.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was, like, a thing, and we were all like, wow, this is fucking awesome.
I didn't really know what to expect. I just remember, like, it was recommended to me And I was like, yeah, I'll check this out. And like, I was hooked within the minute.
Yeah. This is like coming off of Chris Evans as like being Captain America for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Because the first Avenger came out like maybe a year or two before that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how like Mike sold me on it. It was like, it's got Captain America. And I was like, I like that guy, so I'll watch it. And then he was like, also, it's the director of The Host.
So I think that may have been what sold me because my college professor got me into The Host.
Gotcha.
And I remember really liking that movie.
Mike showed me The Host.
Mike actually gave me the DVD that I still have of it. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We have like shared lore with this guy. I love it.
But yeah, he was like, oh, yeah, it's got Captain America and the guy who did The Host. So you got to watch it. And I was like, fucking sign me up, dude.
See, at the time, I didn't know him by name, but I recognized Chris Evans as Lucas Lee from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
My favorite of the
so
X's.
Good in that.
Oh my God. That's actually hilarious. My favorite of the X's. Oh my God. He's so... Okay, I'm just going to lay this out right now. Mm-hmm. I am a cis male.
Are you?
And I have never been more attracted to a man than I am to Chris Evans in Snowpiercer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's my wife's favorite Chris. Like,
really?
Yeah, she wanted me to specifically mention how good his beard looks.
Yes,
it does.
I agree.
Shout out to Sarah, loves Chris Evans. I get it. Hall pass.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have like the vocabulary or the technical knowledge of like makeup enough to say what it is. But I think there is something intentionally done to the rear passengers to make them look like rugged and beaten down, but still beautiful. And to make all of the front cabin passengers like clean, but ugly, like too shiny, and like almost deformed in a weird way, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I don't quite have the vocabulary for what it is. I can't put my finger on what it really is. But the best I can describe it as like, I feel like all the front end passengers, you can tell because they're too clean, too scrubbed, too white.
Yeah.
Like almost
they're pristine.
Albino even. Because I guess they haven't really seen the sun technically just through the train windows. Mm-hmm. But they all look just off a little bit, except for like Ed Harris.
Yeah, he looks
who
fine.
Looks incredible as always, like the ideal like older statesman kind of look. You know what I mean? But like, I think all of the rear passengers like have a beauty to them that's intentional. But it's like, they still look like scrubby and dirty, and like they have dirt under their fingernails, and they're like kind of unwashed. Mm-hmm. But they still have beautiful characteristics to them that like I think the makeup is trying to accentuate.
Mm-hmm. Were there not any like extras or behind the scenes things on the DVD?
No, it had like. I don't have a physical copy of this movie because I think it got like a really cheap Blu-ray release. And I think France got a really nice one, but I don't import movies just yet.
That makes sense for France.
They're big movie buffs, so they get really good releases.
Snowpiercer is also based off of a French graphic novel.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I was guessing a reason, but I don't know.
Yeah, it may have been bigger in France because of that reason. Yeah.
Interesting.
However, I should stipulate though, this recently, it's not out yet, but there was a special 4K announced of Snowpiercer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's not out yet, but I did get a pre-order in, so it's on the way. But unfortunately, it's not going to come out till next year.
Sure. When you get that, but let's bust it open and see if there's any like directorial commentary because it would be really nice to see like if you actually are onto something. Because now that you mention it, it does sound like when it came to doing makeup,
I didn't find anything in my research, by the way,
Nothing.
of that. No.
Because what I was going to say is you could easily make somebody look dirty, but like clean up maybe the bridge of the nose, the eyebrows and stuff to like draw your eyes to specific features that are attractive. Whereas with the passengers who live towards the front of the train, you could blend everything in to almost make them look kind of featureless, like as you're saying, too polished.
That's what I think they did to a lot of them, like namely like that creepy guy that dispenses the eggs.
Yeah, the guy who looks like what's his name from Barry.
Oh
yeah.
The albino guy.
Soho.
Soho Hank.
Hank.
Yeah. Even the teacher who is also from
Alison Pill.
Scott
She's my
Pilgrim.
favorite.
Yeah, Alison Pill.
She's my favorite part.
She just has like a weird look on her, like her forehead and eyes.
Yeah,
like,
and she's really like chewing the scenery.
And I wonder if like they did like prosthetics or something to make her kind of have that look.
Her brow,
or like her brow just looks kind of deformed a little bit to me. Obviously, like we have to talk about Tilda Swinton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's looking crazy, dude.
They based her character off of like multiple dictators.
Oh no, shit, really?
Yeah. In fact, that role was originally intended for John C. Reilly.
Oh,
that's who he wanted to cast originally.
That would be good too.
But Tilda Swinton expressed interest and was like, "I want to do and like let me be this role."
Yeah,
and she was like, "Don't even change the pronouns, like, still have people call me sir,
yeah,
but I'll just be the most ugly, like, hated piece of shit. Like, let me do this. And she even has like the false teeth thing, which is like, not explained, but just creepy and adds to like how unsettling her character is, and like how you just like want to throw a shoe at her face.
And when you see her too, like the way that she's dressed, she's all in white, and then like she's presenting a speech in the back of the train where there's like dim lighting and stuff like that. So it's almost like she stands out entirely, like out alien.
That's whenever you see a front passenger come back there.
Yeah.
You're just like, what the fuck? They don't fucking belong here, kind of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, like get them out of here, kill them. I do. Speaking of the shoe throwing scene, I have to imagine that was an intentional reference to the reporter that threw his shoe at George Bush.
Yeah,
because like I know at the time it seemed bizarre, but I remember reading about it later, and like that's actually it was a great sign of disrespect.
Oh yeah,
intentionally so. Like both because it's like
the bottom of your foot.
But also because like it's convenient. It's like it's something on you at all times.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he also wasn't trying to like assault him. He was trying to say like, fuck you, man. Yeah. Like in the most disrespectful way possible to show him how upset he was. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's intentionally being mirrored here in Snowpiercer.
Yeah, it comes off very disrespectful. You wouldn't put a shoe on your head.
Well, and when she makes such a big deal about it, it's and I will have to say, I was 23, so I was like, brain poisoned by the internet, but I could not stop thinking about the 4chan shoe on head trope.
I
forgot about that.
No, I thought.
Thank God. I'm glad you did.
When I watched it. No, when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh yeah, it was 4chan. I did think about it. Whoops.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was more of a 4chan thing or a George Bush thing.
I think it was more of a George Bush thing. I don't think that Bong Joon-ho...
He's all over 4chan. He's up on B.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude.
Yeah, he is.
God.
So Snowpiercer has a 94% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Of course it does.
Hell yeah.
Why wouldn't it?
I really did try to find a negative review to pull a quote from.
Yeah.
And the only 3 that I found on Rotten Tomatoes, I didn't think were coherent or like had a good argument.
Oh yeah.
I thought they were just...
It was a bunch of hacks that didn't get it.
Yeah, it was truly... And it was only 3 people, again, that were listed. Not counting like the fucking jerk off like podcasters, not counting us, but I'm not even going to name the other podcast, but like they just had like 3-word like pull quotes on there, and I was like, they should not be under top critics. I'm sorry, that doesn't count. But anyway, they were just people who didn't agree with the politics of the movie, but like didn't have like that. But they didn't have like a coherent argument against it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it made them feel icky, but they didn't have the words to say like why.
Right? They were just like, oh, well, yeah, clearly this person would love to like rise up against the classes, but like
he's from South Korea. Yeah, like how does that? How do you not know?
I know. And it, like honestly, like I learned about a lot of that through South Korean cinema. So I mean, it's like it's a wonderful experience.
If they reviewed Parasite, and if they had the exact same like,
see that I would love to dive into. Like, I would love to dive into the diverse reactions to Parasite even more so.
Yeah,
because I could see people. I mean, obviously it did happen, but that movie went over so many people's heads.
Oh,
it's like. I know people who watched it were like, yeah, that movie's pretty good. And then I try to point out something and they'd go, what? I didn't get that at all. And I was like, okay, never mind. I don't know if we should have this conversation then. But anyway, film critic for The Atlantic, David Sims, who I love dearly, gave the film a positive review and said, Snowpiercer is that rare experience you don't get to have much in a summer anymore. A loud, clanging, original action flick that's grabbing you by the lapels and yelling in your ears. Critic Philippa Harker also gave the film a positive review, writing, Snowpiercer feels both heightened and grounded, allegorical yet familiar, able to be experienced. The confined space in no way inhibits tension or excitement, or a sense of forward momentum. It's a film not to be missed.
I agree.
3 flubs in that? Fuck me. Okay.
Keep it in.
Over on Letterboxd, user Madison Wake gave the film 4.5 stars and wrote, rest in peace, Karl Marx. He would have loved Snowpiercer.
When you were saying rest in peace, I was like, where's this going? Where's this going?
Also really let down by the Letterboxd reviews. That was the only one that even got a chuckle out of me.
Oh, because everybody's like, this is praxis.
So many of them, were just being like, wow, I didn't know Captain America was a socialist. Or just being like, this is Bong Joon-ho's worst movie. And I was like,
what?
Yeah, I know. I know,
You're
dude.
kidding me.
No, dead serious. I shouldn't do that. I know, it sucks. Those people are wrong.
First off,
I don't know what his worst movie is, but it ain't this.
No, it's definitely not this. First off, Captain America, if he embodies the ideal of American exceptionalism, is 100% a socialist.
Yeah.
So what do you like?
And I will say too, like, because I feel like they're commenting more on Chris Evans than like the character Captain America.
Right.
Chris Evans, until recently, made very intriguing like role choices.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's completely like he's in Red 1.
Yes, he is.
What is that?
I watched that. It was fun.
He's in
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
Was it good?
He's the
You don't
second.
want your money back or your 2 hours back?
No, I fine. I watched it at the drive-in and had a great time. It was good for a drive-in.
He's the second person that I've heard say that it was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna miss it because I have no.
Yeah, no, me
desire to
too.
watch it.
Just catch it on streaming. It's fine, but I don't know. I had a fine time watching it at the drive-in.
All right. Well,
Are you gonna kick him off?
yeah, we're done. We're closing the podcast. All right. We'll see you next week, everybody. No, I feel like he's completely just like whatever gets a check now for him, really. Like he doesn't make inspired choices anymore because he used to do really interesting roles. Like obviously Knives Out was a big one. Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
Roles that like, he's not showing up to make a ton of money, but he's doing it because like he's either helping a smaller director do like a passion project kind of thing. But he did a lot of those. But I don't know where it pivoted because he also would do, you could argue like One for Them, One for Me, because he was in the Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah.
And that obviously
Well, that was a
not
starting role. Like
That's true. He was early in his
Yeah.
career. I don't know what he was in even before that.
I think the only thing I can think of that was like a real bad flop was the one with Ana de Armas. You were like, it was boring as fuck. They had no chemistry. It was on Netflix. It was like a Netflix action movie.
The Gray Man?
Is that what it was? Yeah.
The one he did with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
Where on paper, that movie's perfect for me.
Yeah, exactly. But
And
it
it
was
is the most boring piece of shit.
Yes.
And it was by the Russo brothers who like I like Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Winter Soldier's great.
And like even Endgame and Infinity War are fine.
Yeah.
But like they can't make a good movie to save their lives now for some reason.
Clearly.
They made a really bad movie with Tom Holland playing like a bank robber veteran too. That was
really?
just abysmal too.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what that one is.
It was a Netflix original.
Okay,
It's okay. We don't need to talk about the Russo brothers.
Speaking of Captain America, though, like I know it was right after his first role as Captain America, but do you think that was part of the casting, like having Chris Evans having that representation in the movie?
He actually reached out when he saw the script.
Oh,
He reached out to Bong Joon-ho personally and was like, I want to be in this movie. And Bong, to his credit, didn't want to cast him because he thought he was too like strong, like too bulky. Because
The people in the back have to be
not-
emaciated. Yeah.
Exactly. He was like, he's supposed to be emaciated, so they hide it as much as they can. He never takes off that
jacket.
big, heavy coat and sweater. Because they're trying to hide how like fucking massive he is.
yeah.
Like the dude's a fucking chungus. You know?
Right. He's a chungus. Yes.
Yeah. I'm still laughing about you saying "fast as fuck boy" on the Beaver Vendetta episode. He's fast as fuck boy.
Fast as fuck boy. Well, hey, before you move on to thing,
Yeah.
you did see that Chris Evans is coming back to play Captain America again.
Oh my god, fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Sure.
So maybe it is for a paycheck. And you know what? That really sucks. I want to see him like do things that he enjoys.
Yeah.
But maybe he enjoys playing Captain America. I don't fucking know. But I love him. I love him as Captain America. He is Captain America.
I thought he signed off because he was like our DJ. He's like, you can't afford to keep me anymore.
Apparently they
he's back
can.
too.
Yeah. He likes money too much. I don't know. Why do rich people have no shame anymore? I was thinking about this the other day because I got a Monopoly Go ad on the TV with Jason Momoa and Chris fucking Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do they need Monopoly Go money? We have no shame anymore.
It's probably just
Actors didn't used to do commercials.
selling out's not a thing anymore.
Yeah. They will do anything that pays.
Yeah.
You're saying that that rich people are more craven?
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause they can get away with
they
it.
will suck up any dollar they can get now. What is going on?
Chris
Are they
Evans
trying to build their
learned
doomsday?
nothing from this
bunkers? Oh, yeah. But like, they're just completely craven now. But like, what are they trying to do? Like build up as much wealth as they can before it's all gone and then like build their doomsday bunkers in New Zealand or what?
They live a comfortable life and they want to keep it that way. And
but why would you do Monopoly Go ads?
Dog,
That can't be that
It's
fun.
probably really easy for the amount of money that they were given.
That's Probably true. Yeah.
I guess this is what I'll say. You know, when the proletariat uprising happens, I will have tears in my eyes as I tell Chris Evans to face the wall.
Fucking wall. Yeah.
You know, and I mean that sincerely.
Absolutely
Chris.
right. Like you should have stuck to Parks and Rec, you piece of shit. They should have kept that weight on.
Chris Evans, not Chris Pratt.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I will have any tears in my eyes for Chris Pratt. Anyways, keep going. Is that bad? Do we need to cut that out?
No, I'm keeping it in. I just hate that I got the Chris's mixed up.
Yeah, that's the worst Chris.
Is Chris Pine the only Chris that doesn't get put up against the wall?
I fuck with him, dude.
I like Chris Pine.
Yeah.
I'm saying the only one not up against the wall.
Currently.
Yeah.
But he's on,
because even Hemsworth, like, I feel
he's
like,
on a tight leash. I'll just say that.
Well, no, he went full weirdo lately.
I know,
and I'm
did.
like,
I'm watching.
Pool Boy.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I need to. He directed a movie, and he's like a fucking.
It sounds like his take on the Big Lebowski, basically.
Yeah. Chris Pine's going in a weird direction. I'm here for it, but like, if you get Craven, buddy, I'm gonna have to put you against the wall too.
I will say,
what's that?
He did do the Dungeons and Dragons movie. But it was good.
It was good.
Yeah. So like, we give him a pass.
We did.
He took a paycheck movie,
but it's not eternal.
But it was good.
It was exactly.
So he gets a pass for that one. Okay, I have a top level summary. I got a summary. So in the event that you didn't watch the movie, I'm first of all, what are you doing? This is one of our favorites. I think this is in my top 4 in Letterboxd. Here's the synopsis. In the year 2014, an attempt to mitigate the effects of climate change is devised, which disperses a chemical cooling agent into the atmosphere. Unfortunately, the cooling agent is too effective, and the world is plunged into a new ice age that has destroyed all life on Earth. A wealthy tycoon, known as Wilford, feared the impending snowy apocalypse and built a nuclear-powered self-sufficient train, known as the titular Snowpiercer, that navigates the globe via an intercontinental track which harbors the last survivors of humanity. The passengers on the train are segregated by class between the cars, with the elite bourgeois occupying the front of the train and the proletariat, or lower class, occupying the rear of the train. The rear passengers suffer in cramped and squalid conditions and experience cruel and harsh treatment by the armed guards, including executions and kidnappings for the next 17 years. Among the rear passengers are Tanya, a tough but loving mother played by Octavia Spencer, Tanya's 5-year-old son Timmy, Gilliam, a wise older man with missing limbs played by John Hurt, Curtis, our tough and courageous protagonist played by Chris Evans, and Edgar, played by Jamie Bell, who is a brash young man that looks up to Curtis. Minister Mason, a front car passenger played by Tilda Swinton, arrives one day with armed guards to round up the children of the rear passengers. 2 children are selected and pulled away from their parents, including Tanya's son Timmy. The parents protest, and even a shoe is tossed at Minister Mason, leading to the father responsible to have his arm frozen and destroyed by the guards.
What a scene.
Yeah.
They pull out that fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Ooh. After receiving secret communications and their food blocks from a mysterious source that provides tips for an uprising, Gilliam and Curtis devise a plan to lead the rear passengers in a revolt to push their way to the front of the train. After their initial violent uprising, Curtis and his fellow passengers free a security engineer named Min So, and I apologize if that's wrong, I'm just going to run with it, played by Song Kang-ho, as well as his daughter, Yona. They bribe them with a drug called Chronol to open the train car doors. Eventually, the rear passengers are met with a heavy force of armored guards wielding hatchets and night vision goggles. After a devastating fight in which many rear passengers are killed, Curtis recalls that they discovered a rare pack of matches and calls for torches to be brought to the front line. After a dramatic torch relay through the train, the rear passengers are able to turn the tide against the guards. During the battle, Edgar is held captive just as Minister Mason is left unguarded. Curtis finds himself torn between rescuing Edward and catching Mason before she escapes. Curtis chooses to grab Mason and forces her to order the guards to stand down, but not before Edgar's throat is slashed. With Mason as their hostage, Curtis, Tanya, and Minsoon make their way through more of the train and discover their own food is created from insects, while the passengers at the front of the train have fruits, vegetables, and even fish and poultry harvested on board.
Sushi.
That looked so good.
The sushi was really good. Also, real quick, during that conflict, a thing that I thought is going to be really important later on was Tilda Swinton's character saying, calculate that 74% of you will die here.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah. After passing through several opulent cars lined with passengers living in luxury, the protagonists reach a classroom in which the children of the front passengers are educated and propagandized. Gilliam is suddenly executed, and the rear passengers suffer many casualties in a surprise attack by the teacher and other front passengers. After surviving the attack, Curtis executes Mason and moves forward with Tanya, Minsoon, and Yona.
What happens to those kids? Where do those kids go?
They just duck under their desks after the guns.
Yeah.
And they just stay there. Okay.
Yeah. A determined lieutenant of Masons catches up to the group and manages to kill Tanya before being stabbed and incapacitated by Yona. The surviving rear passengers then witness several more cars of even more opulent passengers, including an opium den and a nightclub, before reaching the door to the engine. Minsoon explains to Curtis that instead of entering the engine, he intends to blow open a door to the outside world so that they can escape the train altogether, revealing that he has been hoarding the chronol drug to make an improvised explosive for the door. Curtis then explains that his only intention is to kill Wilford because of the horrors he and the other rear passengers experienced. He goes on to explain that in the early days of the train, there was no food, and passengers resorted to eating younger and weaker passengers. One day, a mother was killed so that her baby could be eaten, but Gilliam intervened and cut off his own arm so that it may be eaten in the child's place. Curtis reveals that he was one of the attackers that killed the woman, and Edgar was the baby he nearly ate that day. During their conversation, the door to the engine opens, and an armed woman shoots Minsoon and orders Curtis inside. Curtis meets Wilford, an elderly man in a silk robe, played by Ed Harris, who congratulates Curtis on his revolt and for being the first person to walk the entire length of the train. Wilford goes on to explain that the entire revolution was his own plot, which he conspired with Gilliam, Curtis's mentor, as a means of population control to maintain sustainability on the train. Wilford is aging and, impressed by Curtis's actions and leadership in his revolt, requests that Curtis replace him as the train's conductor so that order may be maintained. Devastated by the revelations and severity, Curtis breaks down inside the engine and is seemingly ready to accept the offer. However, Yona pleads for Curtis to refuse and to light the explosive to the outside door instead. After Curtis ignores her, Yona pries open a floorboard tile in the engine room to reveal Tanya's son Timmy operating gears inside the machinery. Wilford explains that the rear passenger children are taken regularly and enslaved as maintenance workers inside the engine to maintain the train. Enraged, Curtis pummels Wilford and frees Timmy from inside the engine, sacrificing his arm in the process. After handing over the last match, the bomb on the door is set and Minsoon and Curtis embrace over Yona and Timmy to protect them. The blast causes an avalanche, derailing the train and causing all of the cars to wreck. Yona and Timmy find no other survivors and escape the train into the frozen tundra outside. They find a polar bear in the distance, proof that life is again sustainable in the outside world.
And that was
Good job.
Snowpiercer.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
You're just like missing two things, but
well, I tried to make that as brief as possible, but I
yeah.
failed miserably because it's so long.
It's dense. There's a lot that happens.
It's almost
in the
as
movie.
long as a train.
Yeah. Wow.
This movie is over 2 hours long, just barely.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't think it drags though.
No cuts. No, it does not.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know. What do you think? Like, besides the fish scene that I mentioned in the intro, what else do you think Weinstein wanted to cut? I bet it was all good shit.
Yeah,
you know?
I bet it was too. He would cut up more of the like socio-political stuff and less of the action
Monologues.
shit. I think
Probably
all
more
action.
of the monologue. Yeah. Because after you get through like the first couple of fights, it's a lot of like just showing how crazy the front passengers are living.
Yeah.
And then people just monologuing to each other, especially that Harris scene. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he would have like added in like a fat bastard reference with the baby eating scene.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Get my belly.
Yeah. Sorry.
Baby. That's tight. No, I would have fucked. I would have fucked with that hard. Like,
I remember being shocked the first time I saw this when he reveals that.
Oh, yeah.
It is shocking. Yeah.
I forgot by the time I watched it again for this that was, I knew the revelation was that he ate people. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that they had to eat people in the beginning. I didn't remember that he killed Edgar's mom and almost ate him as a baby. Like that blew me away. And also when he just straight up says like, I hate that I know what people taste like.
I also hate that I know that
babies taste the best. That is
that's devastating.
fucking line.
Such a dark.
Oh my
They
God.
really got Captain America to say he ate babies. That's crazy.
And then and to have him our like strong male protagonist like just break down and cry when all of this is like revealed to him in the engine room is like such a powerful scene to me. I love that. And then when he finally and he also mentions that scene when he's revealing all of this, he says that like that was when once Gilliam cut off his arm so that they could eat it instead of the baby. Other passengers started doing that too so that they wouldn't have to resort to eating more people. And he's like,
I wanted to
and
do
in the
it too.
beginning of the movie, he references that like he doesn't want to be the leader because Gilliam mentions like you should take over one day, and he's like, I can't lead these people. I've never given up a limb like everyone else, and you just think it's because of like how the one guy gets his limb amputated.
That is correct.
For rebelling. You're like, oh yeah, they get it for like standing up to them. No, you find out it's because he didn't want to cut off his own arm to feed everybody.
He tried and
which is
out.
Crazy. And then you see like he has a scar on his arm that we saw earlier.
Yeah,
but they don't explain anything, and it just all starts making sense in this. Oh, it's so good. It's such a good reveal.
He does very good at layering puzzle pieces and doing like excellent
like setting things up. Exactly. Yeah. And
like,
then when he does reach in to pull Timmy out of the engine,
he sacrifices his arm.
He knows he's going to stick his arm in that gear and probably not get it back. And he doesn't even think about it. He just does it. And
he embraces the role
and when
that he wanted to be.
Pulls up his stump, he doesn't even look mad about it. You know, he's just like, you can just tell he's like, I finally like sacrificed my arm to like fucking save somebody, and I didn't have to like second guess myself kind of thing. And you're just so proud that he came full circle. And also, I know we've skipped right to the end because I did the summary, but when him and Minsoon like embrace over
they are
Yona and Timmy.
Protecting the future ideals.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Will, if that isn't everything like we
Being
want
a father.
represented in media, like Jesus Christ.
No, I
it's
agree.
so good.
And like obviously the movie's good, and there's like a lot of really cool action pieces and a lot of like interesting things that they're doing. But the end of the film is like all of these different strong ideals that our three big characters have. Like the three main ideals that are clashing, or not even clashing, but like entangled with each other is Curtis's Mingsu. I have no idea how to pronounce the name.
What's their surname again? Steven, do you still have it?
Namgoon,
yeah.
That sounds even fucking worse.
The dad, though.
Yeah, the engineer, the security
I will say
door guy.
their names were intentionally chosen to be difficult for English speakers to pronounce.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I know.
But anyways, those two, and then Wilford, even though he doesn't like, he's only got in the movie for like 10 minutes, we are living in his reality and his ideology, and you see it on display at all times. So seeing like Chris Evans talk about all of the horrors that all of the lower class people had to endure, and how they naturally found collectivism through their shared sacrifice, and how that like informs their reality.
That's why they're all in on this together, and there's they've never faltered between themselves. You know,
exactly.
So
they've all shared in the pain, and so anything is better than this. It's very like, I don't agree with accelerationism as an ideology, but like it is very much like one of those types of things. Like our situation is so shit that even if we die getting it,
you're saying about like blowing up the train, basically.
Well, not blowing up the train, but like taking over the train. They don't have a goal after that.
To me, accelerationism is blowing the train up.
So that was my next bit.
I was like,
that was my next thing.
Sorry, I'm so sorry to jump ahead. You're good.
I think it could be both.
Well, to me, they're just doing a class revolution where they want to seize the means of control.
Well, like what accelerationism is like trying to get to that drastic end or violent conflict faster.
It's leveling the playing field so that all of us are equal in the rubble is essentially the way that I see it.
Oh, see, I guess I had an incorrect assumption that accelerationism was like, what's the end of the universe? Like,
the
I thought it was like accelerating everything so that everything, like, you just lead straight to nuclear war. Like everyone's dead.
No. It's the idea is
like the most extreme answer kind of thing.
From the way that I understand it is the idea is that you push either conflict or some sort of natural disaster,
like as heightened as it can go.
You make it happen fast enough so that society breaks down, so that people who are already at the bottom now have a new means of like climbing,
like a new society.
It resets everybody back to zero.
To put this in the film terms, is it like what Tyler Durden is aiming to do in Fight Club?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I see. I think that's more akin to the plan to blow the train.
Well, that was my second thing. That's my second thing.
Yeah.
Like I understand that Curtis's goal is to push as far as he can go and seize the train to better the living conditions of at least the people that he shares with. But that
I want to think he wants to do it for the betterment of, you know, the people in the back. But I think he's honestly saying here, I just want to kill Wilford because of what he did to us.
Sure.
At this point too. I think he's purely motivated by revenge now also.
Sure, that's fine. And then what I was going to get with as far as like blowing off the door, like that I feel is informed by context clues that I am not going to say his name because I cannot fucking pronounce it. Minso, right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
That's informed by context clues that he's gathered by being on this train for 17 years. And also, I believe it's heavily implied that the Inuit woman who taught him everything about snow was his wife.
Yes.
And that's Yona's mother.
The direct Bong Joon-ho confirmed that. It's his wife and Yona's mom.
It's never explicitly said,
not.
But he the way that he makes it a point for her to see the people frozen out there and to tell her the situation. It does feel like there was some sort of romantic involvement there. And then, but like seeing the plane slowly rise out of the snow.
Do we want to refer to Min Soon's character as Song? Because that's the actor's first name.
Song. We'll do that.
Yeah, we'll say Song.
So he sees the conditions outside the train bettering, and we have a better chance out there than we do in here, if you think about it. And then two, the train is built on lies. Like, if you think about the train as society that we live in now, right? The train is functioning on child slave labor. The train is making sure that the wealthiest there are enjoying every kind of delicacies that they had previously, and they're literally culling other human beings to keep the number down. You know, I understand like eating bugs is disgusting, but like
in the scheme of things, it is the least of the appalling conditions on the train.
Yeah. And so if society needs to have slave labor and, culling of the masses in order to continue existing.
Ritual executions.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Then better it be destroyed.
Exactly.
Than to continue
and I think that
pushing
is,
forward.
Yeah, I think that is what the movie is putting forward. And it's hard to argue with because of the allegory in which it, states itself in the film.
Yeah, you wrote notes, so I was going to say I want your opinion because that was all I really wanted to say.
Well, I was going to say like having a super train to survive the apocalypse doesn't like actually seem like a good idea.
But it's been working. It's been working for 18 years.
Oh yeah. Clearly it has been. I don't think it's actually a good idea to have like super train to like survive this apocalypse. I think there's reasons why like you can't expect the tracks to continue to be there.
Right. I was
Plus
shocked
the snow buildup too.
Well, it is called the Snowpiercer.
I know,
guys.
but it barely fucking makes it through the three.
So I was just trying to think of it as like a metaphor where this is just a super train that goes around the world, and it's not really going anywhere, just to continue this cycle. And it's not like everyone on the train is eating the bugs. It's only the lower class. If they were like more concerned about having a sustainable living where more people have a better quality of life, maybe more people would eat the bugs.
Everybody should be eating the bugs.
There could be better conditions on that train.
Right.
But yeah, they're telling a lot. The classroom scene's a great example of the lie that's being told. I love their little songs and stuff. Was it Rumble Rumble?
They all basically worship the train and Wilford.
The engine will never die, and then she dabs.
Yeah, they all dab. It's so fucking good. What happens when the train stops?
We all die. Boom. What happened before? And that one little girl,
they celebrate passing the people that escaped and died, and they're like, "Look how stupid they are!" Basically,
that little girl said, "Old people are friggin' morons who got turned into popsicles."
Yeah,
I love that. All right, it's a lot of my favorite.
It's great though. It's you can see like, I feel like a lot of the train cars are representative of how like here is how like a system, be it capitalism or what have you, like perpetuates itself. Like there is the education system that they control where they like instill all of these things into the kids so that they don't think otherwise. And then there's the agricultural system, which they have complete autonomous control of so that like only certain people can eat the best food. And like in the aquariums, and we don't really see like a livestock. We just see like a butcher thing, but they're chicken eggs, so it's presumed that there's chickens on board.
There's cars we didn't see, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Or they just kind of breeze through because like this movie is like fast paced. It's great.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, and then there's even there's like a rich, fancy like 1920s like socialite bar kind of thing with like flappers and shit going on.
That's like the first opulent, like
where they start seeing like the drastic differences between the rear and then not even the front of the train, but just the front half, I guess. Too, because once they get past all the industrial stuff, like the food plant, the water plants, the guard stations, they immediately start seeing just opulence and just an extreme disparity, which I think is again, acting as an allegory for either capitalism or just a form of Western civilization, any form of classism as it exists anywhere in the world too, where you got to have your masses that are the most oppressed and the most manipulated in the bottom that are lifting up smaller and smaller levels. But the masses that are lifting up and holding up, smaller and smaller pallets of like different levels of higher class structures.
The engine cannot exist without the children.
Without the sacrifices, exactly, of the workers or of the masses or what the proletariat, like, pick your definition. There have been many writings and philosophies that explain this exact system and how these systems have to, survive. And the idea of like a train, I think is so beautiful because it makes it all so small and dense and able to be like understood. And it's just a complete, like from back to front, from left to right kind of movement throughout the whole movie. And even that scene where Edgar is being held hostage and Curtis looks to the left, or to his right rather, and sees Edgar being held at knife point, and then looks to his left and sees Tilda Swinton's character escaping.
It's the opposite. Right is forward to the front, left is the back.
I guess you're right. Yeah. But
I watch it every frame of the painting.
That's
oh, dude, she did a thing on Megalopolis. Oh wait, no, never mind. Not her. That was Behind
different
Rewind.
YouTuber.
So sorry.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen that yet.
Dude, Megalopolis has got to be fucking crazy.
But yeah, that scene where he's like, and the other way is wrong is what you're referencing. I love that video. Yeah. I haven't watched it in a while, but from what I remember is like how poignant that scene is, because like he has to keep moving forward. He knows that like he can't go back. He can't go back for Edgar. He can't save him. Also, that character was named for Edgar Wright, by the way, because him and Bong Joon-ho are friends.
Oh, no
Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, that's probably how I think Chris Evans
got on it. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
But yeah, he looks and sees Tilda Swinton, and like the film makes it like they intentionally set up the 180 rule like very strongly throughout the whole film, and he goes for Tilda. He moves forward.
Well, because he has to. He can stop the killing of the rest of them. One person is not nearly as important, no matter how personally they're important to you, to the whole. Like, it's a great scene.
But he's not willing to make that sacrifice at the end by putting children inside the engine.
Yeah.
Well, but at that point, it's like all of the lies of the train has become like apparent to him.
Yeah.
And I think he at the end agrees with Song about blowing up the whole system, because
I think it's because he's put together that like, if this is what's required to maintain this train,
then it's got to go.
Then it's not worth maintaining. Like sustainability be damned. You know what I mean? Like blow it all up. Exactly.
Going along with the left to right rule that was established. Whenever they break that and he points to the door that's, on the wall rather than not, backwards or forward.
It's off course.
It's with the train, they're constantly thinking of the forward movement. And like Chris Pratt's like, well, we need to move forward because that's the only way to have a better life. Yeah. And without really considering if there's other options, it really makes you think in just these linear ways. So I thought that was a really interesting way that they broke it at that one point.
There's so many ways you can break down what this movie does and how and it all ties in thematically, and it's just so wonderfully constructed. That's why I will not hear any criticism of that sort of stuff. The best I think you could say about it is like it's juvenile or what have you, but like it's a blockbuster action movie that manages to pack in like
real,
like some really heady themes,
social commentary.
Exactly. And it's just so wonderful. And he went more abstract with it for Parasite and won fucking tons of awards. So good for him.
You said more abstract? Oh, I guess it was.
I don't think Parasite is as easy to digest as
Snowpiercer.
Fantastical. I see what you're saying.
Like Snowpiercer.
It is definitely less digestible.
Yeah. There are people that watch it and don't get it.
Yeah.
Whereas Snowpiercer, it's pretty on the nose.
Yes. They tell you.
They almost straight up, they don't invoke the name Karl Marx, but I mean, Gilliam looks a lot like him, Well, actually, he looks more like Leon Trotsky, I think.
That was like, all right, that's a big thing I want to talk about is like the reveal of his complicity.
His conspiracy,
in maintaining it. Because like you can tell I'm sorry, what was his name? Gilliam? He
John
was
Hurt's character,
obviously very motivated to, he had the perspective like this train is the way to survive and it has to be the system. And he was even willing to live in the back and have his limbs cut off, but he was still serving the system. I don't know. Like I wasn't really sure what to think of him other than maybe just he had outdated ideas of what is possible.
It's the class
because I will say it is like when you meet a mentor or a professor or somebody that like puts you on the path of, I don't want to say being woke because that's been so co-opted, but yeah, someone who puts you on the path of being radicalized. Exactly. I think Howard Zinn's a great example because he was a lib to a T or an L, if you will. But he was a very progressive person in his time. And it's, I think, a perfect way to put this too, in terms that like everyone will understand if you didn't just study political science in college like I did.
Sure.
Is nonviolence. People love to tell you that, like, yeah, I believe in protests and what have you, but I believe it has to be nonviolent.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's so many people that know that, like, you are going to have to throw the Molotov cocktail, you know, or fire a gun at some point. You know what I mean? Like, and this film is not afraid to say that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's very bold. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's in your face about it.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't remember where I was going with that, but
you were talking about Gilliam as a person who's complicit in
right. Yeah, so he inspired.
How do you feel about him?
Yeah, I think without him, we never would have had Curtis.
Right.
Become the person that he was. But yeah, exactly. He wasn't willing to go far enough. He maybe believed in what he was teaching Curtis, but it was to a point kind of thing. You know, he was like, well, as long as I can motivate Curtis to lead this revolt to this car, it will mean that these people can survive for longer kind of thing.
Right.
And that's why when Curtis learns that he was not fully, altruistic in his beliefs.
Sure.
So to speak.
Yeah, I would say he was like coerced into doing this thing.
I think it even further pushes him to be like, fuck this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, he's even more ready to blow the train up.
Even the lessons that I learned was fabricated.
Exactly.
This whole situation.
To perpetuate the system.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Another takeaway from that could be like, there aren't like perfect examples out there. You're going to find problems with people you take perhaps good lessons from.
Yeah.
Curtis ate a baby.
No, 100%.
And
no one is
people
is
put
free
that
of
in attack ads against him. And
but yeah, no one is free of system, free of sin in this system sort of thing.
It's in the water.
But like these people did what they had to do to survive sort of thing as well, you know, because like, can you really fault him for that when that was how people were surviving at the time, you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah, it's like,
and like, he feels bad about it, but he's moved past it sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is like, it's a really fascinating thing to learn about him. And it makes his character, I think, more fascinating because like then you're really revolted by him, you know?
Curtis or Gilliam?
Curtis.
Oh, okay.
But then learning about Gilliam, you know, being a kind of a class traitor in the end too. Yeah. It's like when you learn that someone's a stooge, you know, in a political movement, and you think, well, fuck. Like they were, or they were an informant, you know, for the feds or something. And you think, well, how much of this did they really believe in? And was all of this just to, you know, find the most radical among them to get them arrested kind of thing too? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like or were they just being a useful idiot sort of thing? I think that's maybe what they thought Curtis was. And when he proved to be
way more capable.
Exactly. Yeah. That's when Wilfred's like, well, maybe you should be the new conductor.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you back a rat into a corner is when it bites the hardest, and the back of that car was filled with rats.
I like that.
And I mean that lovingly.
They're desperate. Yeah.
Rats are great survivors, you know.
You got to give it to them.
I give it to them.
Rats off to you.
All right, well, that was the episode. What are we at, by the way?
Hold on.
I said what I wanted to say about it.
I got some quick trivia. It's not that much.
I know. He wrote up a whole fucking thing. So
I just like took notes through it, basically just like things that happened. I definitely wanted to point out the chemtrails because I thought that was a funny thing to point out. I did notice in my research, in my research, that there's like a fan theory that. This is like a sequel to Willy Wonka.
I've seen this.
I've actually heard the same thing.
It's silly, but you know, like you can see like how was it Wilford, you know, the big W, as they say, he's like obsessed with like modes of transportation, but also it's like Curtis is kind of like a Charlie character. It's like, this is all yours. You inherit it, and then
me
exactly. Except, you know, instead of like Oompa Loompas, it's children.
Yeah, but they carry off children to die all the time in that movie.
Yeah, so maybe it's better than you think it is. I don't know. Anyways, I just thought it was just a funny thing.
A lot of fun coincidences between the films.
A fun thing. It reminded me a lot of The Matrix as well. I wanted to say, like, Curtis makes a very, very similar set of choices to Neo.
Yeah.
Did you just break down the whole system?
Yeah. Well, but
yeah.
like everything about him being a revolutionary is kind of co-opted by the existing. Oh, did I steal from something?
No. I'm super excited to say that. Yeah. I'm sorry.
But Neo learns that the one is like a constructed thing, and very much in the way that Curtis learns that, this is kind of the intention. We need a story to continue this system. So anyway,
I'm so excited you said that, because that's what the Matrix sequels are about, and I love explaining that to people, because like I didn't like them very much. I'm like, yeah, but they're explaining that like this isn't the typical hero's journey. They're trying to subvert all of that.
It's something else entirely.
But they find out that like the Oracle devised all of it. She devised the plot of the first Matrix film so that she could break the system with Neo, because she knew that he would rebel and reject the typical pattern that the one is supposed to commit to every single time. And also Neo finds out that Morpheus, who was like a father figure to him, who like awoken him and like showed him pulled the veil back and everything. He realizes that Morpheus is just a useful idiot in all of this as well.
Yeah.
And now he knows more than Morpheus, and he just feels like, what do I do? He feels so lost because of it. And then like the Oracle is just playing him in this game to defeat the Architect, to make the Matrix reset itself. It's so fucking beautiful. I'm so glad you said that.
think it's
great. But yeah, no, there are way more coincidences between those two movies now that I didn't even think about until you said that.
You're welcome.
This is why we have him on.
Fuck yeah.
He takes notes.
I took
the motherfucker takes
I
notes.
stopped taking notes after what was it?
You got your degree.
Rumble, rumble, rattle, rattle, the engine will never die. Because I just thought it was great. And Alison Pill, the teacher, was incredible. That was
She's really
She
good.
was.
Yeah.
she's a big ham. It was great.
Playing the piano while it's spinning and like glitching her eyes out and shit was
she's just like really
great,
into it.
It's so fucking good.
I don't think she was also pregnant in that scene, which I thought was like kind of
she
interesting.
was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then the mute guy fucking kills her. He throws a fucking knife and hits her.
Yes.
yeah.
Gray, I think his name is. You don't learn anything about him, but he's just
cool
a really
as
good
shit.
fighter.
Well, he's like the guy who like runs from the back and like stabs the giant guy.
He's got a bunch
Yeah.
of words. He's a word man. He's got words tattooed.
Yeah, he
he
has
had the
surrender or die on his arm that he flicks to the guy.
Yeah.
That was so cool. He's like, surrender, they're going to kill me. And they go,
Oh yeah, the way that like Tilda switches from like what am I going to do? Like when she sees that, and then like the way like you brought up earlier, the way she just pleads, she takes out her dentures, and just to look more pathetic. The way that she just like snivels and just makes herself like just look so pathetic. And she tried I think that's why she took her dentures out, just to make herself look sad.
I agree.
And then she does like the same thing right before like.
She's incredible.
Curtis kills. Yeah.
Tilda Swinton's a treasure, man.
She is.
Yeah. Sarah does not like, my wife does not like Tilda Swinton, but she loves Chris Pratt. So this is like, it was mixed feelings for Sarah.
Or Chris Evans.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris Evans.
No, she likes Chris Pratt.
Evans.
Don't cut it out. Don't cut it out.
No, Sarah likes Chris Evans.
Chris Pratt, right?
No, not that one. Star-Lord? No, not the Star-Lord.
Parks and Recs?
Mr. Parks and Recs.
Parks and Recs.
Mr. Parks and Recs.
She doesn't like Tilda Swinton? Dude, she's so good.
I know. I think it's...
We need to talk about Kevin.
I'm going to get her airbrushed on my tailgate.
You should. Get the...
That's a Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt reference.
I got that one.
Only Lovers Left Alive version of her.
I haven't seen that. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I do not know that.
It's a romantic vampire movie.
Oh.
It's really good.
Oh.
It's her and Loki.
Tom Hiddleston?
Tom Hiddleston, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So in What We Do in the Shadows, there's an episode where they make references to a bunch of like movie vampires. I did not understand why Tilda Swinton was in there.
It's that one.
Okay.
That's for that one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Is that the same episode where Wesley Snipes is on the computer?
On the TV.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's great.
I love Wesley Snipes.
He's so funny.
He's so good. That reminds me, Demolition Man's getting a 4K re-release.
You told me that we need to watch that anyways because I haven't seen it.
That should be part of this. This
I've never
series.
seen it.
Oh my God, it is dystopian. That's right.
Yeah, like
it's the least serious, but
it's ridiculous, but it has a perspective.
It does. It's so fun.
Yeah, just might be a fun.
They Live was going to be
Capper.
the end, but Demolition Man would be
They
really
Live is
fun.
also fun.
Just keep
but
going.
also is
Yeah.
like, I would say, has a more serious perspective.
It's more serious because I don't think Demolition Man's like version of the future is at all realistic.
No.
Except for the Taco Bell thing. But
Yeah.
I could see that.
Dennis Leary speaking real to you.
God. That is going to be the single worst part of that whole movie, like rewatching it as an adult, I think, for me.
Yeah, like
Where it's like he's the voice of reason in that fucking movie.
yeah, it's weird. Well, it's also like that weird thing that happened in that time period where like there'd be a comedian featured in a movie, and then they just basically
just doing their monologue.
They just do their bit,
and it's just him mad about political correctness, and it's just like, what? That's not at all the problem, man.
Yeah.
You guys had it so good. That's what you were mad about.
Let's see. Any other notes I have? I liked the pitch battle, like with the hatchets.
So good.
Let's talk about that fish scene really quick.
Yeah, I want to know
how do we interpret that?
Yeah,
blooding the axes.
Right, they're all dipping their axes in this giant like salmon or something.
It's not a salmon. I don't know what it is. But
I'm not sure what kind of fish it is, but it's a big fish. It's
yeah,
not small, but and they all like dip their axes in it. Some of them don't get any blood. Some of them get a lot of blood. But I was like, are they dipping it for like the fish oil so that it goes in and out of people's body parts quicker?
Oh, maybe. Like you can get it back. I didn't know if it was symbolic or practical.
Same, exactly. And I'm not sure, like, if Bong just did it because it looked cool.
I think it's symbolic.
Yeah.
And
is it like a ritual?
I'm trying to think of what it might be a callback to, but it also could be like showing that like everybody's weapon is bloody, or they're like unafraid to hack into you or something along those lines. Because like, okay, so when soldiers fight, a lot of them get captured, taken hostage, right? But soldiers that don't get taken hostage, or at least I've heard of this, are snipers, because those guys are 100% out there to fucking murder somebody, right? So the idea is if you catch a person who's got, who's a designated marksman or whatever, you can kill them. You know that they killed one of your guys. Easy peasy, right? But your average soldier is like hesitant to just murder another person when they catch them, right? So if these guys are blooding all of their axes, if they lose, they're showing their commitment to their side, their train, because if they lose, there's no way to tell if the blood on their axe is from dipping it into the fish or from dipping it into a person. Like it's almost a weird solidarity of the enforcers, if that makes sense. Like that, maybe I'm completely shitting out of my ass here.
I like your interpretation of it.
Yeah. That's what I was getting. It's like once again, I play a lot of Warhammer, and
exactly. So you learn about like, I will say, I just looked it up. The director said that it's an intimidation tactic that he conjured himself, but it's to reflect how like tribes, during tribal warfare and stuff, will cover themselves in paint to look like blood,
okay,
or just even smother themselves with blood to be more intimidating.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to make a callback to like the Chaos Warriors of Warhammer Fantasy, where like when they're walking up to a fight, it's like, the smacking the axe against the shield to make to all be like one kind of thing.
I think you could pick any type of warrior from any region of the world, and you could find a similar intimidation tactic that was practiced. Yeah, exactly.
Or like the Aztec death whistle. Like if they instead of did that, they all had the death whistle, and they fucking
that'd be great.
Do you get Instagram reels of people that like blow those to scare teenagers off of their like street?
No, I actually. So funny enough, I found out about the Aztec death whistle from 104.1 Real Radio. Like they found a YouTube.
Wow, that's
clip.
Called calling it back.
That's
baby.
right. It's poetry. It rhymes. I've actually got a friend who has one in his house.
I hear it's like horrifying.
Yeah, it's like
it works.
Have you heard?
Scary noise? Like
It's like
just in videos, not in real life.
A fucking banshee wailing. That shit is scary as fuck, and I love it.
The videos that I'll see, like in one of them, it's like just a bunch of teenagers hanging out in the street like at night. And the person, and also I think this is a shitty thing to do unless you're actually being harassed by people. Right. They're obviously just like people that are like, get kids off my lawn kind of stuff. Yeah. But it is funny what happens. It may have been staged. But he goes in his backyard and like wails on the whistle. And then the kids go, oh, fuck no. And they all start running.
But yeah, it's that's how I see it. It's like a way for them to show, like, not just that they're faceless too. Like, that's the cool thing too, is like they're
all wearing like balaclavas that cover everything but the mouth.
Exactly. They look like executioners.
Yeah,
like
sure, exactly.
Sure. But also whatchamacallit, it's the same thing that goes back into why the rebels usually hit all of their marks, but the stormtroopers can't, and it's because the stormtroopers are shooting at humans, and they have a relative, a shared, I guess, species. Fuck, I am fucking this up so hard.
Goal?
Not a shared goal, but like it's hard for me to look at you and want to pull a trigger because I know you're human and I see your face and I can see everything on it, and I can understand the human aspect of you.
They're humanized.
Yes, we share something. Even if we've lived completely different lives, there is a shared commonality there, right? And so if I'm wearing a helmet and you can't see my humanity back on me, it makes it easier for you to pull a trigger.
It feels like it's a bad idea to do that to yourself.
To wear a full face,
but it's conformity. That's the thing, is they are,
when you have a large force, it's better to do that. Yeah.
Exactly, because you know who your guys are. Yeah. Like if everybody was in the rabble, then
it's easy to distinguish during battle.
Exactly. Okay. But it also makes it easier for people to fucking kill you, especially if these guys are already highly motivated to fucking kill you.
Yeah. Right.
You know. So I don't know. It's there's a lot of neat fucking things that he does in every single car.
Yeah.
That, is just screaming at you, class revolution, overthrow the government, kind of shit, eat the rich and all that.
We haven't talked about the New Year scene.
Oh, yeah, which is the scene as well.
Yeah, it's right after that. Yeah, it's about halfway through the fight, and everyone stops, and one of the higher up guys announces that they're about to pass a certain bridge. I forget the name of it, but what that bridge marks is that it has been a full year. It's like the full revolution of the track. And so everyone pauses fighting to yell Happy New Year as they cross the bridge. It's so funny.
Well, only the not the proletariat. It's all like.
I mean, they stop fighting, but they're kind of like thrown by it.
Yeah, they're thrown by it. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and it's like a normal thing for the front passengers. You can tell,
but they can see. That's the thing, is because they can see.
And even one of the masked guards kind of looks over at Chris Evans and just kind of smiles, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Well, they also know that they're about to secure the victory because they're going to hit a tunnel,
right? Because there's a tunnel coming up right after the bridge, and the rear passengers don't know this because they've never had windows. They've never seen the outside world.
Yeah.
So the first time they've seen it is when they escaped out, during their revolt. But the bridge means that it's going to be blacked out because there are no lights. They turned out all the lights in this cabin that they're fighting in, and all of the guards were equipped with night vision goggles, which they all whip out, and that's when they start to lose the fight.
Yeah, they're getting fucked.
Yeah.
There's one guy that's got the fucking poking stick.
Yeah,
they
have
two
spears
impaled.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And that's when Chris Evans realizes that they have matches, and he calls for a torch from the back of the train.
Yeah, he calls for Chang, the kid.
I love that scene.
Yeah, it's
where
cool
it's all in slow motion, and they light the torch. And Andrew, the kid who lost his kid, or the guy who lost his kid and has one arm, starts running with the torch. And then that's when Gray joins in and takes over. And it's just a wonderful scene of they're all coming together to save this battle at the last minute to save themselves. Oh my God, it's so good.
It's really good.
There are multiple scenes that bring tears to my eyes, and that's one of the first ones.
Even the part where they block all the doors with the barrels.
They make a big it's the opposite of a ram. It's to hold the doors open.
And there's dudes inside the barrels.
Yeah,
they're running
through.
Out. It's such a neat way of not only stopping the doors, but also instantly reinforcing the lines. So fucking cool.
Oh, it's so good.
A lot of good ideas.
Yeah. Oh, this movie is so wonderful. Why is it not as celebrated as Parasite or so many other action films?
Didn't Parasite get an actual theatrical release?
It made so much money. So many people kept seeing it, I remember.
And also got an Oscar. Right?
Yeah,
I think it won Best Picture.
It did.
Yeah. And that's what made people I remember wanting to see it, not having been able to see it.
I know.
And then it
tons
got
of normies that saw it.
Yeah, it got the Oscar, and then it was on Hulu. The very
that's
the next
right.
day,
It went to streaming immediately.
Boom, let's go. Let's fucking watch this shit. And I was not disappointed. It was great.
We watched it for your bachelor party.
That's right. That's how cool I am.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, in this house. Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah.
That was chill. It was nice.
Yeah, I had an early copy before it went to Hulu, and I was like, guys, you want to watch Parasite? Because everyone had been hearing about it, It was like, guys, I got it.
Yeah.
That was a great time.
Yeah, that was cool.
The most important thing about this film is the speeches at the end. What do you got?
I just I like the morgue like prison. That was neat. Like the way the prison
put
system
people
worked.
in fucking boxes. That's fucked.
That was bad. Didn't like that. People are machines. Like literally, that they made that very obvious. Like people literally become parts of the machine.
Yeah, the kids that are working in the engine room, they seem like just kind of hypnotized into just working. It was bizarre.
Well, even before that, you see
the dudes working on the computers and shit.
There's that, but even before that,
the guy that makes the food, Paul.
That's right. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, and he says it, and he like jumps up and he pulls a lever and all that, and he says, "Yeah, they can't replace the part. The part's extinct."
Yeah, so
they kept saying the part's extinct. Through.
They don't get into that, but I like what you're touching on here. Is so many people are not mesmerized. What's the word I want to use here? They're just purely solely focused on their work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though they know, because like Paul is like glad that they're there, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are going to the front? Heck yeah, good job!" And he doesn't stop working. He just keeps making the food.
Yeah.
Is that, I think that's speaking on how people are so dedicated to like hustle culture, like working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, yeah, like, I know the outside world sucks, but like I still got to go to work. I
have a purpose, and so I cannot help.
Well, you're right. Like
people
I can't stop. Yeah, exactly. I can't stop what I'm doing here, and it's like, you know, but you're still perpetuating this system kind of thing. And if enough of us collectively decided to stop working, to strike, so to speak, you know, and lead a revolt, like we would have power in that. But so many people have just been brainwashed or hypnotized or propagandized through school and society that like they cannot pull themselves away from their work kind of thing, you know?
And I don't know, like it does seem bad to live through that train crash at the end. Like it probably
it's not great. It didn't go well for like anybody, it seems.
Almost nobody. But I mean, I guess that is still trying to say like this change would require very drastic you know, brutal changes.
And there's no way that like Yona and Timmy alone could, you know, reproduce society essentially. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be more survivors than that.
Yeah.
But they don't do a thorough examination of all the train cars. Surely someone survived.
Or maybe somebody just made a bunker somewhere. Like something more conventional that makes more sense.
I glanced over like what the comics are about. And evidently they work the movie into the continuity of the comics and make like a sequel to it where Yona and Timmy like come across like a band of people that survived in like a town or something. So there's like, if you are interested in this world and want to, you know, read more, like there's a ton of comics out there that serve as prequels and sequels to the movie.
That's neat that it's built into the continuity.
I was going to say, what about the show?
Oh yeah, there's a TV show on TBS. I think that's just about to end.
Yeah, there's like 2 seasons.
I think there's more than that. I think it's like 3 or 4.
I think it's 4.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I'm way behind.
It's just about to end.
So you've actually seen the show?
I've never watched a single episode.
Oh,
me.
Okay.
I don't even know what it's about.
Behind. So
I'm assuming it's about the revolution that happened 4 years before.
No, I believe it is a retelling of the movie, but like stretched out.
Well, it looks like there's different protagonists.
It's none of the same characters. Yeah.
Oh,
that's interesting.
I don't think it exists in the same universe. It's just as if like, what if that was a TV show kind of thing, you know?
Oh, that's
my understanding.
I
didn't look too much into it for this episode.
I mean, I might check it out.
Yeah,
maybe it's good.
If it's about the revolution that happened 4 years prior, that would be really interesting. Or even like the revolution of the.
But they would have to have some of the same characters though, because some of them were alive for it.
Younger though. That's the thing is you can recast people if they're younger.
Yeah.
You can have somebody be young fucking Chris Evans who who cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong about that. So
I don't know.
Hey, write in and tell me I'm wrong. Yeah. Debaserpod@gmail.com.
Hey, there it is.
I have one last thing I forgot to say.
Yeah, what's up?
The fact that this movie is set on a train and the evil villain of the film is a giant like railroad magnate that thought to engineer this big railroad, I think is a takedown of Ayn Rand and Atlas Shrugged.
I never thought about that. Yeah, trains are very much in that in that book. Yeah.
Powerful like titans of industry are all of the protagonists of Atlas Shrugged who just want to do great things, but the government won't let them.
Oh, is that what that book's about?
Yeah,
I'm not wasting my time reading that shit.
Don't.
listened to half of it in an audiobook. I feel like I got more than a gist.
It is literally
I was trying to think of like any references to names or anything else in it.
I will summarize it for you in like 3 sentences. A bunch of like super rich and powerful like industry titans decide to tank the economy because they don't like the government. And when they're able to like get the people they want in charge of the government, then they all of a sudden start building things again to fix the economy. That's basically the whole plot. Like in a very quick nutshell.
The rich industrialists like, go on strike.
They go on strike. Yeah. Like the most socialist thing you can do.
The working class.
Yeah. I know.
So fucking stupid.
It's so bad.
I love it.
Yeah. I can't think of any other like obvious references, but that totally makes sense. Yeah. Good job, Jared. That's a good observation.
Thank you, Uwu. I'd like to have my master's, please. Thank you. You got a call to action.
Oh, here it is.
Tell a friend about the show, please.
Please.
We don't spend any money on advertising. We can't. We don't have that kind of money. We do the show with money of our own pockets. It's a purely volunteer basis. Steven, you're not being paid today. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's fine.
Wait, he was going to get paid?
No one gets paid on this show.
Good.
I'm paying money for this show.
How am I getting paid?
Maybe one day we'll have money and I'll be able to take you guys out for dinner or something.
Jared, you'll be proud of me. I told my son's friend's father about the show. They even asked the name yesterday, and I told him, and it was a Pixie reference. So I got you.
Do you want to give him a sticker? I'll give you a sticker.
I have a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want some stickers? Did I not give you any?
No.
Oh, fuck. I'll give you some stickers for relief.
I would love merch. Thank you.
You're getting some stickers.
Jared, how do you get this merch if you're not me?
I'm not selling them because I don't have enough. But that is a goal one day to have not a Shopify store. We're going to have a big cartel store because they're like the cool punk version of Shopify.
Oh, cool.
I tried, Jared. I tried to set you up for that.
I appreciate you trying to like pivot me to us. So. But yeah, tell a friend about the show. That's how anybody finds out about us. Just say, hey, I listened to this show about movies you might like. And obviously, like, if that person sucks, maybe don't tell them. They might not like it.
Yeah, do
invite
some
cool
filtering.
people only. Use some discretion.
Yahoo anime rules. Only tell cool people. Otherwise, it's shut the fuck up Friday kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you straight up. Like, if you even email us with like vitriol or whatever, I'm just gonna delete the thing.
I don't know. I might read it and laugh at it.
We might read it out here and have a little chuckle. Keep a little pet. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Have a hate listener kind of thing. Yeah. I would appreciate that.
I fuck with that, actually.
At least he's downloading and kind of thing. And yes, of course, it'd be a guy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Have another call to action. Here it comes. Will's already sick of hearing this, I think.
I don't know.
Get involved locally in something.
Oh, no, that's going to be the ongoing theme of every dystopian movie that we
absolutely.
cover.
Yeah. Steven knows where I'm coming from with this.
It's true.
But show up to something, man. Go to meetings. There's all kinds of things you can do. Your PTA, HOA, city council, there's all manner of boards and committees locally that you can show up for and participate in. It takes minimal effort from you, and they make decisions on things on the thinnest of margins. You will be shocked at how much influence you have over things that have a lot of effect on people. That is how we got into the predicament we're in on a national level, but we can turn it around. We can't make the same mistakes. We got to get involved. A lot of people that should not be in charge of things are in charge of these things, and the only way to get them out is to participate. We can't just hope that someone we agree with runs and we can vote for that person.
You got to run yourself.
You need to be that fucking person.
And that's why Jared is announcing that he is running for...
Stop. I'm not making that. I'm not saying you need to be, a legislature, a governor, a congressman, like what have you. Like, you literally just need to be a volunteer on a board on something that is like 30 minutes away from your house at most. Like, you will be shocked at how much things you can get involved in.
Be the voice of reason in the room.
Yeah. And even if you don't want to do that, like, participate in your community. Like, it is so fulfilling. Will, if I can use you as an example.
Of course, you're more than welcome to.
You're very involved in the Warhammer community.
I am.
And you probably don't like to admit it, but you are a mentor to a lot of young men, and you have kept a lot of guys from getting into, let's say, the manosphere, if you will.
Yeah.
Like the Andrew Tate kind of people. I think you've helped a lot of dudes get away from toxic and hurtful political ideologies, just by being a good dude. And
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He's glazing right now, dude. He's doing tricks on that shit.
I'm glazing up everybody right now.
Putting the fucking bubbles on it.
Steven,
I appreciate that.
I don't want to dox you, but you do something very important in your line of work. And I'm not going to, again, I don't want to dox you, but I think you do a very important job.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
By being as vague as possible. I'm sorry.
I mentioned at least what I got my master's in. I work in public health.
That's as the general as you can be, I think is good. Yeah.
Which I think is very, very valuable.
That's it. No war but class war, folks. Well, folks, that's been our show. Thank you for listening to Debaser. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to us on your podcast app and follow us on social media by searching for @DebaserPod. To be clear, we are on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook.
That's right, not the other one.
It's up, but I'm never updating it again. Our guest today was the lovely Steven Meadows. Steven, where can people find you, and do you have anything to plug?
I'm not really on social media.
That's good. What's that like? Is that nice? Do you have a lot of like?
It's nice.
Free space
I've
in your
been
brain.
thinking about Instagram or Blue Sky, but I'm doing fine. I don't think I need to do this.
Don't do it.
Plug my brother's band Swamp.
Oh hell yeah!
And also Scuff.
Scuff. That's right. That's his other band. That's right.
He's in two bands.
It's really he's in two bands.
He's a good guitarist too.
That's crazy.
Colin, yeah.
It's crazy.
That's the biggest thing I have to plug. Hey, thank you guys for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Maybe I'll do more. I don't know.
Love to have you.
That's up to you, I guess. I don't know.
Past and future guest.
It's true.
My wonderful co-host is Will. Will, where can people find you? And do you have anything to plug?
I do the social media. So if you've been listening to us long enough, it's obviously pocket_infinity. I am finally in my off season. I am taking commissions, but I'm also enjoying working on my own stuff. So I should have some projects that are done soon, and I'll actually post them up. Also, I've been playing that fucking Marvel game, and
Marvel Rivals.
I've got two. Well, so the reason why I said is I've got two reels of my son. Playing the game.
Yeah.
It's way more fun when a 3-year-old tries to play that game than a 30-year-old man. So.
Yeah. Well, for the Debaser podcast, I'm Jared. Goodbye. Debaser is hosted and produced by Will Taylor and Jared Rusk. Want to email the show? Send it to debaserpod@gmail.com. Want to help us out? Please leave us a 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice, especially Apple Podcasts. Thank you for listening, and take care out there.